Hey, what's going on, everybody? Timmy, aka Echo Side Fiend here. So today is Saturday, September 16th, meaning that the Juggalo March on Washington is happening now. Not exactly sure if the march itself is going on right this second, but the events are underway anyway. So I hope everything's going good out there. I didn't make it, obviously. It just wasn't in my budget. Um, I got the Hollywood trip coming up, and not too long ago, a few months back, I had a close to $800 car repair. I had to get a brand new exhaust system in my car. Living here at this apartment complex that I live in isn't exactly cheap, so it just wasn't in the cards for me to make it. I would have liked to, but just couldn't do it. But again, I hope everybody out there is having a good time. I hope everything is going smooth, and hope you're all making us proud. So. As far as the whole FBI thing, obviously that came down the line when I wasn't doing YouTube. I mean, I only started this a few months ago. So I figured, with the March being today, that I'd go ahead and share my thoughts on the whole gang label thing. I think it goes without saying I am steadfastly against it. I think it's absurd that it happened at all. That whoever it was who decided it, I mean, it was the FBI, but somebody somewhere within the FBI was like, hey, we've had a few of these people do some gang-like crimes, so I guess all of them are a gang. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's insane to me. I can't even believe that someone in there, in that hierarchy of FBI, guys, agents, whatever you want to call them, no one kind of stepped back and said, that might not be a good idea, but it just, they ran with it thinking it was a great idea. I don't know how. But in saying that, I don't care what fan base it was. I don't care if it was the Juggalos. I don't care if it was Garth Brooks fans, Backstreet Boys fans. I don't care who. If the FBI had at some point said, well, we arrested a few people for, we got some drug activity, some robberies, and some vandalism, and well, we did some research, and it turns out they're all fans of the Backstreet Boys. So that means anybody who listens to the Backstreet Boys are gang members now. If that had happened, and that was announced on the news or whatever, I would be just as vocal saying that is fucking horse shit. I mean, that's just because somebody in this fucking group committed a few crimes doesn't mean everybody is all committing crimes. I mean, it's ridiculous. I literally don't have any other word to say about it other than ridiculous or absurd or something. It's I can't believe it. It was literally shocking to me. When I first saw it, like, this won't go anywhere, and then it did. I can't believe it. It's just mind-boggling to me. And it's like for me, like, going around with the charm on, or I've got a sticker on the back of my car, just the Hatchet Man spot like that, right above the brake light. I haven't had any issues, but I'm like, I literally could be stopped by the police and they go, you're a gang member. I've been in the back of a cop car once, and that was only while I was being detained to be given a ticket for skateboarding in an area that I wasn't supposed to be skateboarding in. It's like, besides, I've had a couple of speeding tickets over the years, but I mean, that's literally like my lone brush with the law of like actually I was like held up against the car and searched and then put in the backseat of the car, me and one of my buddies, and then they had us sit in the back of the car while they were writing out tickets for us for skateboarding in a prohibited area, and then they took our skateboards too. So we had to like go pay our fine and then we get our skateboard back. So that's like the worst I've ever had. I've never been arrested for drugs. I mean, all I ever did in my life was smoke weed, and I haven't done that in probably 20 years. And but that's it. I've never dealt drugs. I've never fucking done any harder drugs than weed. I've never robbed anybody. I've never broken into anybody's house. I've never committed rape. Nothing. I've done absolutely nothing. And just to the fact that I listen to ICP and other Juggalo related bands, groups, whatever, I can be considered a gang member, and I'm sure there's plenty of other Juggalos, Juggalettes out there just like me that have never done anything other than like I said, I've had a couple of speeding tickets, and I've had a few other tickets for skateboarding as well. But that one time I was detained in the back of a car. That's the closest that I've ever been to being arrested or taken downtown. Well, we were already downtown when it happened, so I guess I wouldn't be taken downtown, but you know what I mean. And it's ridiculous. I can't believe it. And then the whole situation, really, I mean, obviously that bugs me, but there's within the situation, within the whole thing, the other thing that really bothers me is people, and for this example, I'll say like people that I know, like personally, that I feel like should be completely against it, should be vocal about it. Maybe not going on Facebook and typing a lot about it, but if it comes up in conversation or something, they should be, yeah, that's fucking bullshit. But I got several friends that think it's hilarious. They're not ICP fans, but like one right off the top of my head, he's one of my old buddies from my skateboard crew. I've known him for years. We met when I was like 16 or 17. He's like a year younger than me, and we've been friends all these years. And he's from here, but he doesn't live here anymore. He moved, but he's probably among the smartest people I know. I'm not kidding at all. He's educated. He's very smart, very intelligent. He can pick arguments apart just like that. You can be like arguing with him about something, whether it's religion, politics, anything, and he can just dive right into it and pick arguments apart, and have great responses and educated responses too, not just like funny, hilarious responses. I mean, good, thought out ideas. And I know he doesn't like ICP. He likes to give me shit for listening to ICP. That's fine. We're old friends. We pick on each other. I don't care. That's fine. But when it comes down to it, like when that first happened, I posted an article on Facebook, and he saw it and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've been reading about it. That's hilarious." And I'm like, "How is that hilarious, dude? That's like not funny at all, And I thought at least maybe he'd be like, "Oh, I know it's not cool, but I think it's just kind of funny." And nothing. He was just like, "Oh no, it's hilarious. It's funny." And I'm like, we started kind of arguing back and forth, like a friendly argument. But again, this was on Facebook. We were commenting. But I was like, dude, I'm like, how is that funny? I mean, like, literally, I'm like, I haven't done anything. I'm not a gang member. I've never been arrested. And I'm like, I could, if I wanted to join the military, I could be told no. If I was in the military, I could be, freaking kicked out. I could be stopped because of the sticker on my car and have my car searched. I could be denied air flight, flight on an airplane. I could, if I don't have kids, but if I did, they could be taken away, and I could be kicked out of my apartment. I could lose my house. All this stuff, because of this label. Is it likely? Probably not, but it could. And this dude is like, he's liberal progressive, just like me. And I thought he'd be like, yeah, that's bullshit, dude. That absolutely should not be happening. And he's just making up all these like, oh, it's hilarious, blah, blah, blah. That's not going to happen. Get over it. I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's going to happen or not. It could. And I'm like, you, of all people, should be against that. And then he really likes the band Slayer. So I think it's pretty much his favorite band. And he's like, I said, I'm like, what if this happened to you? What if, like, the government all of a sudden said, hey, we've arrested over the years, a bunch of people that sell drugs, and we've got this loose-knit connection among each other, and it turns out they're all Slayer fans. So we're going to just go ahead and say that all Slayer fans are now in a loose-knit gang. And I wrote that, and he wrote back, he's like, oh, I'd gladly join a Slayer gang, LOL. And I'm like, I just commented right back, I'm like, no, I don't think you would. I think you'd be absolutely, mortified that could even happen, that the government could do that to you, and then you'd be angry. You would be vocal about it. You'd be on social media. You'd be fighting it. You'd be doing whatever you got to do, voting to possibly get politicians that would be against it. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be against it. And then, like, he's just like, oh, it's funny, and it's like, come on, man. It's like, how could you possibly say that? And then a lot of the people too that do that, when they're talking about that kind of stuff, laughing about it, siding with it, whatever, they don't provide any evidence. They just say it's like, oh, it's funny because it's happening to Juggalos, and I don't like ICP. For example, I'm not going to say the name, but it's a pretty prominent YouTuber. I actually do agree with a lot of his stuff on music and wrestling. He's a big wrestling fan, but I don't want to get into any issue with him, so I'm not going to say who it is. But it's a fairly prominent YouTuber, and he was doing a review of the Chris Benoit video, obviously, so a couple of years ago, and he was like saying like, oh, it's horrible. He obviously doesn't like ICP, and he's like, it's horrible. They're just doing this for money, blah blah blah. And when he was doing the review, it wasn't very long after the whole gang label thing had come out, and so he's like, yeah, all ICP fans, apparently they're fans of wrestling and blah blah blah. And and before he got into that, when he first mentioned the fans, he's like, who, by the way, have just been labeled as a gang, and with good reason, might I add, And then he just continues on with the reading. Like, no, okay, so what's the reason? You know, what's this evidence? Where is this that you have to provide to show that we should be called a gang, or that there's a good reason why? You know, and nothing. He doesn't even have one. You know, that when he said that, I mean, it just sounds good. You know, oh, by good reason, I might add. You know, it sounds funny. You know, so that's all it was. That's how he said it, and he had no argument. If somebody had challenged him in the comments, I guarantee maybe he might have some have come back, but nothing of any substance. You know, so. And it really bugs me. These people laughing about it, and then oh, you guys deserve it. Like, why? I don't know. You know, I mean, it drives me fucking nuts. So, but as far as me here in Michigan, I've actually never had any problem. That doesn't mean other people haven't. I just myself haven't. I've never been so, like I said, I've got the Hatchet Man sticker on the back of my car. It's just small, well, like that. But my last car that I had a license plate that I'd ordered from Hatchet Gear, not like a custom license plate, but just a Psychopathic Records at the Hatchet Man. I had that on the front of my car because I had a license plate holder on the front. So I had that, and that last car too. Before this one, I had a couple ICP stickers like on either side of the brake light, and I never had any issue. I never had any issue with this one. I've never been told I can't wear anything. You know, I wear this term frequently, not all the time, but frequently. Never had any issue. Usually, I'm wearing a hat of some kind with the logo, whether it's I got a Riddlebox hat, I got a Hatchet Man hat, you know. And I've never had any issue. That doesn't mean other people haven't. Just I haven't experienced it. And I think here in Michigan, Grand Rapids, it's the second biggest city in Michigan besides Detroit. So I do feel like I don't know if this is true, but I feel like this is just my feeling that law enforcement has dealt with enough, that they know whether they deal with a lot of juggalos or not. I don't know, but I feel like that they've dealt with enough that they know that, like, oh, just if this one guy's wearing an ICP shirt and I arrest him for something, doesn't mean all of them are, you know what I mean, or whatever band, it doesn't matter, So I feel like that's probably it's something that goes on. I think like that they just know it's not a big deal. And then in Detroit itself, I go to Hollowicked every year. I've been there for a couple of Juggalo days, and you don't see any more police presence since that gang label thing outside the concerts than there ever is, And most of the time, I should say almost all the time, it's just simply they're there to make sure you're crossing the street safe, to make sure people aren't, being, and aren't bums trying to rob you or something, you know what I mean? Not that bums would rob people, but you know what I mean? Just that everybody's safe in there if it's not in a gray area or whatever, And I would be willing to bet that Detroit cops are probably like, seriously? You're calling these guys a gang? Give me a fucking break, So, and actually, my dad is a retired Grand Rapids police officer. He was a police officer for 35 years, and I mentioned that to him when it first happened, and he doesn't really know a whole lot about the Juggalo scene or anything like that. He knows that I like ICP, and he knows who they are, but he was kind of like, what? You know what I mean? Like, somebody's wearing a shirt, and they think that, like, oh, if somebody else is wearing a shirt and isn't arrested, but this guy is arrested and wearing an ICP shirt, he's like, that's stupid, So, we didn't really talk a whole lot about it, but he was just kind of like, yeah, it's dumb, so. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, I think it's probably pretty obvious from the get-go that I'm obviously against this and everything, but I kind of wanted to explain a little bit more of, my feelings on the whole gang assessment and, just how I feel about the whole situation, and just like, I've never really experienced any issue. I haven't been kicked out of any stores or anything like that, but I know that it happens, and I think it's great that ICP, took the initiative to put this together, just to at least make a statement, just saying like, hey, we're not like that. Even if it doesn't change a whole lot, at least they made the effort, and I'm glad they did. And I wish I could have gone, but I just didn't have the funds to do so. But again, I hope everybody who is there, if you are watching this, I hope everything's going good and everybody's being safe and have fun at the concerts and all that. And I can't wait to see some live footage or whatever on YouTube, or I'm sure Scotty will probably write up some type of review on Fago Lovers. So I can't wait to see that. So that's pretty much it. So again, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. This is Timmy, aka Echo Side Fiend, and I will catch you in the next one.